class, today we're going to solve log equation. The most important thing in solving log equation is you need to know the definition really well. So you need to be able to go from log to exponential. Okay, so make sure you remember the equation. Okay, so for this problem, you see what we have is straightforward. You can use the definition right away. So the base in this case is 5. The exponent is 2 equals to 2x minus 5. Okay, so from there you can easily solve the equation. Okay, I move 5 over, so it's 30 equals to 2x. So x is going to be 15. And you can definitely you can definitely check your equation by plugging it back in. Okay, make sure the argument here is not negative. Okay, so if it's negative, if you plug it back in and you get a negative number, that means you have to get rid of the solution. It's not a solution. Okay, so non-negative. So make sure you check your solution. Okay, all right. For this problem, you see that we have log on both sides, but the important part of this equation is that 1 right there. Okay, so there's 2 types of the log equations. There's the one type, the first type is you see log everywhere, and then somehow you see a constant. The second equation I'm going to show you after this problem is you see log everywhere, no constant. So first step for this one, you move all log to one side. To one side. So I have log x minus 3 plus log x minus 7 equals 1. Second, you combine it and make it into one single log. This is very important. So I can combine it. You see addition. So that turns into multiplication. Okay. 3. You use the definition to write the exponential equation, just like the previous problem. So what I have is 5 to the first power equals to x minus 3, x minus 7. Okay, so you're going to end up with a linear equation or a quadratic equation. If you can't recognize right away, of course, when you see parentheses, you have to FOIL, right? So I have x squared minus 10x plus 21. And then you realize that, oh, okay, so this is a quadratic. So we're going to move 5 to the other side to make it 0. So we can factor, right? Okay, so I can factor. I ended up with x minus 8 and x minus 2. So if you solve it, you're gonna get x equals 8 and x equals 2. Now, if I go back and plug in the original equation right here, or even here, you're going to get a negative number, right? So if you put 2 in there, so 2 minus 3 is negative 1, 2 minus 7 is negative 5. So you do not want to keep 2. So make sure you plug it in. Okay, so if I plug in right here, I'm going to get a negative number a big no-no. So make sure you cross out. So the only solution we have is x equals 8. Okay, so I want to show you a second type. So let's say if I have an example, solve for x. I can just come up an example quickly. So we have log 2, say x plus log 2 x minus 1 equals log. Okay, let me change it a little bit. How about just a constant? Okay, so as you can see, we have log everywhere, right? So there's no point of moving around because you're gonna end up with log on one side and log on the other side, right? So the first thing we do is we can combine it into one single log. So, okay. So for this one, I have log 2, 3 times x minus 1. This one right here, I just have log of x. All right, now you see that we have log with base 2, log with base 2, and then we know that if we have the same base, and if they're equal, the argument have to be the same, okay? So for this problem, you can just drop the log. So we ended up with 3 times x minus 1 equals x. So then from there, you can just solve it, right? Negative 3 equals negative 2x. So x is gonna be 3/2, okay? And make sure you plug it in so we don't get a negative number, all right? So that's the second type. The second type is so much easier, right? So the most important part of this problem is before you drop the log, make sure you change it into one single log. So that's the common mistake that students make is they drop it right away because they see log, 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 and they put log 2, they put 3 plus x minus 1 equals x, which is wrong. So make sure you change it into one single log so we can use the property.